switched some things up on the O-line. What did you like about what you guys were able to do last game in comparison to the previous game?
First of all, props to Mike, being able to fulfill that right tackle job. It's not an easy task to ask someone and just go out there and execute. But shout out to him, he's been putting in the work throughout the offseason, and he's deserved every snap. Proud of him. His first collegiate start as well, as the game Saturdays come by, experience comes, so that'll boost his confidence up. But it's been good on the offensive line.
And I've noticed you guys, like, during pregame warm-up, sometimes you and Mike Wooten will work together. And then what's your advice to him going into his first collegiate start?
Yeah, same thing I told Rhino beginning of the year. Don't let the moment get too big. Just go out there, play freely. Don't let the outside noise get to you, and you've been preparing for the whole year, so just go out there and use it.
T-Mac, what was it kind of like to be the quarterback out there on a couple plays this past week?
Nah, I felt good, man. Obviously last year I was fortunate enough to throw a touchdown to Mike Wiley last year, so this past game, we used both of our double passes, so felt good out there to, just be able to make plays and throw the ball.
And there's a lot of people that are wondering, like, where this team is mentally, if you guys are still together, and just that huddle you guys had when you were in the middle of the huddle at the beginning of the fourth quarter, kind of firing up the guys. Take us into that moment, what was going on, what you were saying, and what that shows about where this team is right now.
Oh, no, yeah, that fourth quarter, that's just our little fourth quarter thing. We will bear down. Just gets the team going, fired up. Obviously, we had a good little push in the fourth quarter. Obviously, we didn't get the job done, but that little moment, before the fourth quarter definitely helps us out as far as, momentum and energy. And I feel like that's what our team needs right now, We kind of start off a little slow, and I feel like if we're able to play in the like we did in the fourth quarter versus West Virginia the whole game, then, the record would be a lot different.
For either of you guys, have there been any moments during the season where you've just kind of maybe just thought to yourself, like, this isn't what I was expecting this year, this isn't what I signed up for? Like, how do you keep that aside and just focus on the games?
Not at all. Like what Noah said earlier, God don't make mistakes. This is what God's will is, and we're just out here and execute what He's planned us to do. So we're just out here, we're just being in a moment, trying to get the guys together and just moving along.
I mean, obviously, it's a lot different from last year, obviously, because we had different expectations going into this year. And I know, there's probably some players or a lot of people in the building and fans that are pretty disappointed in us right now. But, I mean, like you said, man, God never makes a mistake. And, we're here because we're supposed to be here. So I feel like it's our job, to battle this adversity. And, the best thing we can do right now is make a bowl game. So we got to do whatever we can to win these next 4 games.
Troy, you mentioned the fourth quarter and the success that you guys had offensively in that quarter. What do you take from that quarter, and how can you use that quarter for the rest of the season, especially on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, offensively, we drove down the field pretty easily in the fourth quarter. We had a lot of momentum. I feel like, we had a lot of trust in everybody. We was confident in our play, because at that moment we had nothing to lose, So obviously we were on the comeback end, so we had to try to do everything we can to win the game. So I feel like if we start like that from the beginning, man, like I said, the record would be a lot different. And I think a lot of it just has to come with, trust and confidence. I feel like if we have more confidence as a team and as individuals, everything will come all together.
Do you feel that the kind of the up-tempo-ness of the offense kind of relieved some pressure off the guys and just went out there and played in that situation instead of, the lower tempo and you're trying to figure everything out, but just kind of just go out and play?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in the fourth quarter, like I said, we were down. So, like I said, we had nothing to lose. All we had to do was just try to come back and beat them. But us being able to play freely, that's when I feel like we play our best. Play free, trust each other, confident. Man, I feel like it's gonna be hard to stop us.
T-Mac, if I recall correctly, you were a quarterback as a youth, but then you were on the same team as No Fafita. Can you just kind of tell us that story of how that all kind of came about and you ended up changing positions?
Oh yeah. So before I went to OC Buckeyes, I was a quarterback. I came in as a quarterback, and obviously, once I met Golo, you know, it was pretty much my quarterback career was over. Obviously, until I got to college. So, but yeah. Ever since I seen him play quarterback, I knew it was over with for me. But you know, I'm still QB2 now, so we good.
So I want to ask you guys about those couple plays. Obviously, the intended receiver or the way the play was supposed to look, it didn't work out that way. So what are you thinking? What are you trying to accomplish once the play breaks down?
I mean, shoot, just like every time the ball touches my hands, you know, at the end of the day, it's my job to make a play, and that's what I had to go out there and do. Obviously, just like a quarterback, you know, my first read wasn't there, so making my read, you know, thinking about running the ball, and shoot, I'm seeing Colo wide open, so why not throw it to the wide open guy?
And for Jonah on those plays, I imagine you guys spent a lot of time making sure that the linemen weren't just
100%.
getting downfield.
Yeah, we're trying to, you know, obviously not go down the line of scrimmage and just block longer, you know, trying to hold our blocks. And, you know, we like those plays, you know, give it to our best guys. And then once, you know, Nalo touches the ball, all eyes are on him, which gives other guys a chance to get the ball. So it kind of worked out at the end.
Jonah, what have you identified are some of the reasons why the inside run game has struggled over the last few weeks?
Just comes from our preparation. You know, we got to prepare better. We got to, you know, work together as a unit. That's on us, the players, not the coaches. You know, we got to execute better. You know, the coaches are not out there playing. You know, it's us, the players. We got to go out there and execute what the coaches are giving us to run. So we just got to, you know, do better this coming week. We're going to use these couple of days. We don't have that many days because I think we're leaving early. So we're going to use today, tomorrow to prepare and then execute the plan on Saturday.
Did you razz Noah at all for dropping that pass?
Oh man, you already know he messed up my passer rating in college football. You know, I'm supposed to be 5 for 5, 2 touchdowns right now, but you know what? It's all right. You know, he made up for it the next play, so I'm not mad at all.
Coach Brennan, for Jonah, Coach Brennan talked about how UCF has an active defensive front. Have you noticed that on film, and what do you think about that?
Yes, big guys, interior. I think that's their best guys on the defense is number 2 and number 5, I believe. You know, so we got to really, really lock into those guys. And also the edge, you know, can't underestimate them. We got to come out and play football. Got to respect the game of football. And going into this game, you know, play with low pad level. That's our mindset right now, and just emphasize on finishing.
And then question for both of you guys. I don't know when we're going to talk to you next day, Matt, but have you thought about life after this season and maybe preparing for the NFL?
We're in the moment right now. We're going to take it, you know, obviously we're trying to make a bowl game, but we have 4 games guaranteed, but all we have in front of us is UCF. So we're going to have that 1-0 mentality and just be in the moment, spend as much time with the guys as much as possible.
I mean, obviously, you know, sky's the limit for both of us, but like you said, man, we're worried about right now, you know, if this is our last 4 to 5 games in college football, you know, we want to be able to enjoy it with our brothers and make the use of our time and have as much fun as we can. So, like you said, you know, we focus on UCF this week in these upcoming games, and we'll see what happens.
One question for each. For Jonah, when you went over to left tackle, I think it was in the first game of the season, how much have you practiced at left tackle?
I think this was it the second game?
I did it in the first game.
Okay.
And then go over there at the end.
Yeah, I started NAU left tackle, and after that, when I got moved right tackle, I did not take any reps at left tackle anymore until Colorado game. I got moved there and found out.
What was it like to sides like that in midstream?
You know, I love to show my versatility. You know, I love to play both sides. You know, whatever the coach and the team needs me to be at, you know, I'm gonna be there. You know, if they want me to be inside, I'll be inside. But you know, I'm comfortable playing both sides and whatever. Like I said, whatever the team needs me to play at, you know, I'm comfortable at.
And for T-Mac, I don't know how much you're on social media. Hopefully not very much because you know it can be really distracting and annoying. But a lot of fans talk about your body language. I don't know if you've heard about this or not. Is this something that you're cognizant of? Is this something that you ever talk to the coaches about or your parents about, like, I need to present myself in a certain way?
Nah, I know my body language in the beginning, obviously, because at the end of the day, I had super high expectations for this team and specifically the offense, and things wasn't really going that way our way after the first game. So, I was a little frustrated, but I think I've matured in that aspect. I've been a lot better. Be more of a leader, and should just really enjoy my last time. Playing with my brothers if it is. So, like I said, I'm just trying to enjoy these last couple of games with my boys if that's what it comes down to. But I'm just trying to have fun right now. So.
Did you talk to anyone about, like, the frustration or expressing the frustration in a different way? Like, was it Coach Brennan or Bob, or Coach Wade?
Nah, I mean, I was talking to Coach Bobby, but I knew it was bad when, I had outside people telling me that my body language was good, like not good, and the people that know me. So I had to fix it, grow up, mature, and just be there for everybody else. So I think I fixed that.
Last question to David.
Yeah, team, what have the conversations been like between you and Noah about the disappointment of this year and not maybe reaching the heights that you guys wanted to coming in?
Nah, it's just more like we don't really dwell on, the past couple games, but just more like what can we do now? What can we do to win this next game? Or what can we do to get us to a bowl game? Get us be able to play in December. Obviously, this team, we don't want our last games to be in November. So whatever we can to help this team to play in December and get a bowl game is we're gonna try to do the best we can.
All right, that's your time.
Okay. All right. All right.
When you draw up those plays for T-Mac to throw the ball, and it doesn't initially go the way it's supposed to, and then he starts improvising, what is going through your mind as a coach?
Well, I think one of the things we talk about all the time is when it's a special play, it needs to go to special players. Those are high risk, high reward. When you put it in like T-Mac's hands, you feel comfortable that if it doesn't go perfectly, that he will make it right. And I'd say that's the biggest thing, is just philosophically trying to make sure that those special plays are going to special players.
What have you identified, Matt, that are some of the issues with the inside run game right now? It looks like there's times when guys are going to the second level and not blocking the first level. What are you seeing there?
Well, I think a huge part of that is the shuffles that we've had to make just personnel-wise. And we have a bunch of players that we are really excited about that are getting experience right now. And the one thing that's nice is as it's shuffled, especially when you look at it from an individual level, you're seeing improvements from individuals. Now, it doesn't help sometimes when you've got to shuffle and it feels like you're kind of developing people. But I do think that Coach Oglesby is doing a great job developing those guys. Some of them are in a spot that, I don't know if we anticipated at the beginning of the year, but they're coming in and they're doing a nice job and they're getting better each week.
And I guess is it exacerbated when, obviously you've got young guys out there that haven't played, but you have a veteran like Josh who maybe doesn't have a great game?
Well, Josh is one of our leaders, and nobody ever plays a perfect game, and it's something we talk about as an offense all the time. We're just trying to pursue perfection while understanding that we will not accomplish it. And so I'm with Bake every single rep, and he has my full support. There's a couple that I think he might like to have back, but with that being said, he also did a lot of great things for us in that game, and you can say that for anybody. I mean, even the headliners, you know what I mean? Some of our top players, there's a few that they wish they had back too, and that's just kind of the case with football. It's never going to be perfect.
Right. So I assume you do the scripting of plays to the start of the game. When that first drive doesn't go as long as expected, either because it's a 3-and-out or this past game with quality fumbling, do you continue the script or do you start over?
I think it's a good question. I think that's something that I won't necessarily talk about when we come off or when we come on the script. What I will say is that we put a lot of time and energy into a lot of different categories and trying to get in front of situational football, and when we get there, making sure that we have answers. When it comes to those scripts, and there's not even really an answer because it's fluid. Sometimes you come out and they're in what you think they're going to be in, and so you kind of stay on schedule and script. Sometimes they come out and you've got to pivot, and you might get on or off those things faster or quicker.
I guess what I was getting at was, is there a way to script future series?
No.
No.
I mean,
It's too reactive?
No, I mean, there is and there isn't. And, you talk to a lot of, I've been fortunate just with professional development to talk to a lot of different play callers, and there's a lot of different philosophies that way. I will tell you that we do a number of things to try and get ahead of what we could potentially see.
So the two guys that we just talked to, Jonah and T-Mac, when NFL scouts or anyone who's representing an NFL team come up to you and say, tell me about these two guys, what are you telling them?
Oh, I mean, they're fantastic, and they're two guys that I'm stoked are on our football team, and I think anybody at the next level would be really excited to get them. They're both extremely competitive, and their football IQ is crazy high. I mean, T-Mac at times has said things to me about football that like a Division I coach would say to me, and the way that he's able to see the game is insane. And then Jonah's just dependable. Both those guys do an awesome job of bringing competitive energy no matter what the circumstance. I think anybody at the next level would be lucky to have either of them.
Two questions for you.
Yep.
Jonah said that he pretty much hadn't practiced at all at left tackle before he went in the first time this season. I think it was game 1 or game 2,
Yep.
where you guys just had to move him over there. What does it say about him that he was able to do that?
Well, anytime you're in those spots, you're trying to find the kids you trust the most to do the hardest things, right? And so, kind of going back to your trick question is when we come to those critical moments or we need to quickly do something, you're going to put your trust in the guys you trust the most. And the other part is there's I always say the only way that you get good at playing football is by playing football, just the amount of reps you accumulate. And obviously Jonah has a lot accumulated. And so when you get in that spot and you're trying to make a move, you're going to go to a guy with a bunch of experience, which he has a bunch of.
And then the second question was T-Mac. We were asking about why the offense was better in the fourth quarter the other day than kind of it had been. And he said we felt like we had nothing to lose at that point, and I interpreted that as that maybe they're relaxing a little bit more, not putting pressure on themselves. Is that something that you can convey to them as a coaching point or something to get him kind of to play. He said if we play like that the whole game,
Yep.
we'd have better results.
Yep. That's so hard to quantify. And, because momentum and the way a game feels and kind of the lens you see it when you watch the film, they're two different things. You look at that game, we had 8 drives, which is abnormal. The week before we had 11, the week before that we had 10. So just less opportunity. In those drives, we had 2 3-and-outs where we need to execute better. Outside of that, we moved it pretty good every single drive. Q has the fumble. That's really abnormal for that kid. We've obviously been with him for a long time. He's one of those guys that we feel like we can trust. And it doesn't make me lose any trust in him. If anything, knowing Q, he will be better for it moving forward in terms of the way he takes care of ball security. And then we had another drive where a holding sets us back, and then we have a drop. And so outside of that, I was happy with the way that we moved the ball. Just being consistent in those spots, so we're not talking about those 4 drives that went poorly, but the 4 drives where we were able to move it, be efficient. Another positive, Noah didn't throw any interceptions. I felt like we were able to protect him much better in this game. And the run game wasn't never a negative for us. And there was at times there was a little bit left out there, but we weren't taking TFLs in that space, which kept us on schedule, which allowed for us to be a little bit more aggressive. And so from my lens, when I'm looking at it, those are the things that matter to me. Because when we're picking up first downs and touchdowns, it's going to be, the energy is going to go, the feel is going to go, all of those kind of things that are a little bit more abstract.
As you guys prepare for Central Florida, they're going through a defense coordinating change. So how do you prepare for a defense when there is a change like that, and how many changes can you expect mid-season from a defense, even though there is that coaching change?
So the thing that I always tell our offense, and it's always about us. We run very little schemes that only work against one thing. We run a lot of schemes that if we execute it right, we should be able to take care of a lot of the looks that we might see. And so regardless, when we've been at our best, when we've been at our worst, I feel like it comes back to our execution, not necessarily what the defense is doing. Now, with that being said, it is an interesting situation. Trying to figure out, what changes might be, what can you get done in a week, like all of that is interesting, and I think it's a little bit of wasted energy if we spend too much time doing that. Because once again, the focus needs to be on us and us executing in order for us to have success. And the bigger concern is their personnel, and they've got 2 interior kids who are really, really good players, and we need to do everything that we can to make sure we're putting ourselves in a great position to handle those 2 interior kids. And it doesn't matter who's calling it. You know what I mean? When we changed over, it didn't matter. You still have to cover T-Mac, right? Like, those issues aren't going to change based on who's calling it.
2 plays, Matt, I wanted to ask
Yep.
you about. The one where T-Mac threaded it to the 19-yarder Noah threaded it to T-Mac on the 19-yard. He threw it, like, literally there were 3
Yep.
guys there
Yep.
and put it in the middle. What'd you like about that throw, and did you think that's his best passes?
It's hard. The one to key at Utah was special, but I think a little bit because of the timing, maybe, and what it meant to that football game. But that's where, we all feel in this program an incredible responsibility to get him protected, because he can do stuff like that, and especially the connection that those 2 have. And so I wasn't surprised by it. You see it every single day in practice. You see those 2 kids working together, and I was more so happy with our ability to give him the time and to be comfortable and to be able to make that throw.
And on the flip side, the sack he took at the goal line in the 3rd quarter that Wooten gave up, it looked like he was looking at Olsen over the middle, but he also had Jeremiah on an out. Do you think he should have made one of those plays? Could he have made one of those plays?
Yeah, those are the spots we're trying to steer clear of in terms of making sure that we're taking care of 11 the right way. With that being said, and that goes back to the point about Baker, is like, nobody's going to play a perfect game. And there's a story in terms of like Jerry Rice trying, he graded himself, and for his whole entire career, he just wanted to play one perfect game. And his whole entire career, he didn't play one perfect one. And so I always tell the guys that story because I'm like, if he can't do it, then why are you doing it? And they're going to make mistakes. And obviously he bounced back and was the reason why we were able to rally and do what we were able to do towards the end of the game.
So what are your plans this week for recruiting? Are you going to be out on the road when you guys get to Florida? And what are the benefits of recruiting that state?
Yeah, I mean, we have, I'm not allowed to talk. Yeah, we will be out as much as we can, and especially traveling early like the way we are. And if we can get as many kids from Florida, we'll take them because speed is the number one thing. And obviously that is what Florida is notorious for. And so as many of those guys as we can get is fantastic.
Last question to Brian.
You kind of alluded to it with the run game. That was what West Virginia was probably best known for, but you were still going at it even though you knew that that was the strength of their defense. Is it important to not scheme away from an opponent's strength on defense? That you still need to establish whatever they're good at?
Well, I think there's a balance each week that way. And really trying to make sure that we are putting ourselves in the best position to remain on schedule and to play efficient football so that we can be aggressive down the line. And so, and some of those things have multiple options to them. Some of those things are not necessarily, the ball could go different places. And we're trying to make sure that the ball goes to the right place based on what the defense presents to us. And so, and once again, going back to, we need to do what we need to do and make sure that we are executing at a high level because we are in the Big 12. And I mean, every single defense is good and every single defensive coordinator is good. And, you keep on turning on the tape and defensive line is a strength. The next week, defensive line is a strength. The next week, defensive line is a strength. And that's not gonna stop. And this is why you want to be at this level, to have these types of challenges. And so we have to continue to make the best decision based on what we think we can do with our players to put them in the best position to be successful.
All right, that's our time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.